Ain't this cute? This is in Colorado. Hang on a minute, people. Scroll back down here. Get a good picture of Santa Claus. And move this thing over here. I'll zoom this. Guess who came in to receive his concealed handgun permit today? Santa Claus! I'll tell you how asinine this really is. Everybody thinks, well, you know, the government's got control, they can do what the hell they want. It's not in the Constitution. I'm going to show you. I mean, all these people are, oh, we've got to join this thing and that thing in order to protect our rights. No. 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 No, 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 no. No, no, no. Now, get a chance, go to this lady's site. Okay, to get. Now, it's called Understanding the Constitution. And I'm going to get me a cat here for supper, I think. Okay. All of our gun rights and stuff come from God. They are God-given. And in our Declaration of Independence says, it recognizes that all the rights come from God and are unalienable. The Second Amendment to the Federal Constitution recognizes that the God-given right to keep and bear arms shall be free from any interference whatsoever from the federal government. Our framers for this were all for an armed American, all armed Americans. They understood that our arms are the ultimate defense in the event that the federal government oversteps its bounds. What's going on now, people? Accordingly, the federal government is nowhere. And I'm going to repeat this again. Accordingly, the federal government is nowhere in the Constitution granted authority to abridge, restrict, or infringe in any fashion whatsoever guns or ammunition. Thus, all restrictive laws made by Congress, all regulations made by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms are unconstitutional as outside the scope of powers granted to Congress and to the executive branch by our Constitution. Restrictions on arms and ammunition is not one of the enumerated powers delegated to Congress or to the executive branch. Now, I'm going to show you something. Like the lady said, there's nothing in the Constitution anywhere that gives Congress the right to infringe upon your gun rights. This, people, is a preamble to the Bill of Rights. It was the 4th of March, 1789. The convention of a number of the states, having at the time of their adopting the Constitution, expressed a desire, in order to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added. That extends the grounds of public confidence in the government. Now, what did they add to the Bill of Rights? You got 10 of them. This is the only place in the Constitution that says, hey, Congress, you can't go any further. Now, what declaratory means, I'll read that again, to prevent misconstruction or abuse of its powers, that further declaratory and restrictive clauses should be added. Declaratory means this, people. It's to fix what was uncertain or doubtful. That's why they added this. They didn't want anybody to misconstrue what the heck that they put into the Constitution. And when they put that in there, that says right there. Now, you listen to me. You listen to me good, because I'm going to say this one more time. This is getting old. This amendment that is in your Constitution I mean, this is your original Constitution. It wasn't ratified until after till the amendments were put in. This means that the Congress is constitutionally barred from infringing upon any firearm rights whatsoever. They cannot write laws or regulations governing it. Do you understand that? Something else, people. I want you to remember this. The Constitution is not a document for the government to restrain the people. It is an instrument for the people to restrain the government. You have firearms for one reason, in case the doggone federal government gets too uppity. And they'll say, oh, well, the Interstate Commerce Clause, we can use that. No, you can't. It says right there, you can't. There was never any such thing as the Interstate Commerce Clause. You know? Wake up, people. Even in the United States versus Morrison, Justice Thomas said that Congress started appropriating state police powers under the guise of regulating commerce. Look it up. They can regulate. To make regular is what commerce means. That's the regulation. So it's the same thing going through every state. Nobody could add taxes or tariffs to it or tolls. And the General Welfare Clause, people, get this through your head. That General Welfare Clause that these people keep bringing up, oh, well, they got it. They got under the General Welfare. No. The Necessary and Proper Clause is only what Congress can use with the enumerated powers. Anything outside the enumerated powers, they don't have any control of. None. Absolutely none. And I get all upset with about these so-called we had our constitutional lawyers look this stuff over. Well, I'm going to show you something. In my constitutional law class at Vanderbilt University, one of the better law schools. Yeah. Let's do it this way. In my constitutional law schools at Vanderbilt University, one of the better law schools in the country, we never read the Constitution. Just what judges said about it. What does that happen, people? Judges become the law themselves. Yeah, when you don't study the Constitution and you only read what judges say about the Constitution, that makes the judge the law and not the Constitution itself. I kid you not. So when someone says, oh, well, you know, the Congress can do whatever they want. No, they're not. They don't have the scope of powers that was granted to them. It's beyond their scope of powers. It's outside the scope of powers granted to Congress and to the executive branch by the Constitution. Constitution is there to limit government. Get that through your head. It doesn't mean, well, the government can do anything that they want. That's not how it works. All those guns, all those laws made by the passed by Congress. I'll read this again. Accordingly, the federal government is nowhere in the Constitution granted an authority to abridge, restrict, or infringe in any fashion whatsoever guns or ammunition. That's all restrictive laws made by Congress and all regulations made by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms are unconstitutional. Is outside the scope of powers granted to the Congress and to the executive branch by our Constitution. Restrictions of arms and ammunition is not one of the enumerated powers delegated to Congress. So you've been living under fake laws for a long, long time. And why? Okay, I want you to look at here. James Madison said, because he's one of the founders of the Constitution. Look up Federalist number 46. The reason the citizens of militia are armed is to defend ourselves, our families, and our neighborhoods, communities, and states from a overreaching, tyrannical federal government. That's why you have firearms. Do not listen to these people. Do not let them push you into some kind of fake constitutional convention where once it's opened up, you lose control of everything, and it's goodbye Second Amendment. It's goodbye Constitution, period. Do not let these communists get away with this. Okay, people, I've pretty much they can't use the Commerce Clause, they can't use the Welfare Clause, and they can't use the necessary and proper. It's all a bunch of hooey. And like I said, these people that say that they're constitutional lawyers, they never studied the Constitution. They only studied what other judges said about the Constitution, thus making them the law and not the Constitution itself. All right. I'll put this up here one more time. Thanks for watching, guys. And don't let these son of a guns walk all over you. It's time to stand up. Now I hope the people in our Supreme Court vote constitutional and not political. That's how we got into this problem to begin with, because of the Democrats back in the day. They stuck their people in here, and they didn't go by the Constitution. They went by their political beliefs, and that's why you're in this problem today. Let's hope that they get things straightened up. I'm sorry, but if you're not going to vote accordingly to the Constitution, then you need to step down and get out of office, or be thrown in jail for the rest of your life for breaking the public trust.